Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back for one more edition of 10 a.m. Tea with Natalie. I hope that your week was awesome. If not, fuck it, it's the weekend, right? I hope that you're really excited to follow up with me right now on the last part of personal development, which is kind of where roadblocks happen. Especially for me in my life, I've kind of had a lot of different experiences. My first career was in laboratory medicine, and after working in the lab for 5 or 6 years, I realized that I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't feeling personally fulfilled in some ways. So I decided to make a change and go to acupuncture school. And as you can imagine, being from a Western medicine sort of framework, I wasn't exactly super supported in that way. One of the managers that I was working under actually made fun of me for it. Said, "What are you going to do, Natalie? Just sit around all day saying, It's like, oh, oops. Sorry about that. Anyways, so sometimes you just have to live your truth and, the other people can just be damned. And so the worst part of personal development is that when you make changes, that usually means that you have to let go of things that aren't working. That means leaving things behind. That means being uncomfortable. That means pushing outside of your comfort zones. That means we hurt people. That means we can disappoint people because we're not meeting their expectations because we are changing. And it can really lead to some hard conversations, relationships breaking up. Lots of challenges can be part of personal development. And so that's why it's so important when you're looking at getting, motivated, and where the source for the, inspiration of these changes is coming from is something deep in your heart, something that you really, really believe, and something that you really know is your personal truth. And otherwise it's going to be very difficult to push through those hard moments and hard to kind of see the value in taking on these challenges. So personal development requires a lot of courage, and sometimes that can, necessitate the creation of a support team for you with different providers and potentially some therapists, and, maybe changing some friend circles, maybe joining a support group or something like that. It's definitely not something that you have to take on by yourself, but it could be something where you're feeling alone for a little bit in time there. And so it's important to remember, though, this isn't a bad thing. Not all people are going to be with you through every single phase of your life. In fact, that's incredibly rare, and it's a huge blessing if you actually do have one or two people that have kind of followed you throughout your whole life. Typically, those may be siblings or something of that nature, and to have a good, strong relationship with them through all those phases is kind of, miraculous in some ways if that happens. So, if you are so lucky, please count your blessings there. It hurts when people don't understand where you're coming from, when people don't want to understand why this change is important to you. They kind of want to just shut you down and push you away. Sometimes when you're making good changes for yourself, it triggers other people who know that they need to make changes but don't want to deal with it. So then they kind of don't want to deal with you. And it can kind of make you feel left behind in some ways when you make a different choice. So these are reasons why it's so important to make sure that it's really a heart-based conviction. Otherwise, you're just kind of going to get lost in the struggle, and you're not actually going to be able to, gain any traction in the direction that you're wanting to move towards. It's also important to be aware that when you are working on personal development, you are having to open yourself up. You are having to be vulnerable to yourself, vulnerable to others. As you make changes and try new things, you might fuck it all up. We do that. That's part of learning and growing and being. And so, you're kind of exposing yourself to be more attacked in different ways. And so just being aware of that, being aware that you are going to have a thicker skin, being aware that you're going to have to kind of suck it up some days, and being aware that you might have to ask for help, right? Control freaks, ask for help. I don't do that. It may be something that you need to do. Maybe that's where you need to do the personal growth so that you can really live the life you want to live. And so it's important to know that even though it is hard, to own your personal freedom and to live your personal truth is so worth it. It's so worth it to be able to kind of be who you are from the inside out and live that way in the world, okay? So it's definitely worth it to go through these processes to figure out what isn't working for you and work on yourself and grow and, you know, reach your potential. And it's okay if people fall away while that happens. And it's okay if it's hard. It's okay if it sucks sometimes, because that's, you know, part of growing and changing. And so for me, I've had to kind of take some things on the chin here and there as I've, you know, made different changes in my life and made different decisions. As, you know, through my adulthood, I've had different interests come on, you know, fitness being a higher priority, different areas of study that I've kind of gone down that may have, you know, made some people a little bit question, you know, what my thought process is there. But that's okay. Not everybody's going to be, you know, a raving fan of Natalie, you know, and that's fine. But I need to be a raving fan of Natalie because I have to live in here 24/7, 365. So I need to make that comfortable for me. So that's kind of where I was coming from and figuring out my personal development plan and I will be continuing to work on myself on a, you know, daily basis because you're never really there. There's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. There's always, you know, the potential for something to be even more awesome. And so why sell yourself short and not, you know, pursue that? So hopefully you found this week to be helpful. We'll be back again on Monday with a whole brand new topic because I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for 10 a.m. tea with Natalie. If you think someone else could benefit from hearing this information that we share, definitely tag them, share this with them. Please interact with the videos outside of the live feed. Happy to help with any questions, comments, concerns you have, or any recommendations you may want, or whatever the case may be. And I hope that you have an awesome weekend. Take good care of yourself, enjoy the people that love you, and join me again on Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, for 10 a.m. tea with Natalie. Take care, and we'll see you soon.